Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 6. So, week 6 is my favorite week of the entire class. I think this lecture is the most interesting, and that's probably just a personal preference, but I think part of it is also because we're covering things that are so central to everything we do, not only in this class, but in online education, and frankly, just in the lives we live online. And make no mistake about it, we are living more and more of our lives online, whether that's good or bad. We are. And so, what we're talking about this week is going to be central to better understanding that. We're talking about browsers. Now, browsers are these software that allow us to engage with or interact with the internet. Now, I'm going to do a video all about not only kind of the makeup of browsers, but the makeup of the internet itself. Because I think in order to get a full understanding of what browsers are and what they offer, you really need to have an understanding of the makeup of the internet, and on top of that, the web. So in the lecture this week, there is going to be a bit of a discussion of what is the internet and what is the web and what kind of goes on what, that kind of thing. So make sure that you do listen to or go through the lecture very carefully, and I will be posting another video that goes more in depth on this. So what we're going to be talking about, browsers. Now we're going to be focusing primarily on 3 browsers, but it's not going to be just 3. I mean, we talk about other ones too, but the 3 are going to be these. It's going to be Firefox, which is put out by Mozilla, a not-for-profit, Chrome, which is put out by Google. We all know that, and then Safari, which is Apple's browser. There are many other browsers out there. There is Edge, Microsoft Edge. That is Microsoft's primary browser, and that's what's taken over from Internet Explorer. Now, you might be thinking on your computer you have Internet Explorer when in reality you have Edge, because both icons are very, very similar. The only difference, there's that little blue E. The only difference is the swoop going around the E is kind of golden colored for Internet Explorer, whereas it's blue for Edge. So we've got the 3 that we're going to be talking about, but there's plenty of others. Like I said, there's Edge. There's something that is not used as much by most people, but is still a very well-known browser, which is known as Opera. There's also one that I love called Brave, which is put out by many of the same people that help to design Firefox. And beyond that, there's plenty of other kinds of browsers. There's, if you have a Kindle Fire, for instance, Kindle has its own browser called Silk. There's another kind of browser called Tor, which is this encrypted browser that is very secure and very secretive, takes privacy very seriously. So there's all sorts of different browsers. Even if we focus on 3, I want you to kind of have an understanding that that's not all that there is. There are plenty of others. So what you're going to be learning about is kind of what browsers do and what they offer. Okay, so pay careful attention when you're investigating browsers to kind of the different features that browsers offer when it comes to security, when it comes to privacy, when it comes to kind of ease of use, speed, add-ins and extensions, things that you can kind of do to make your browsing experience better. You can kind of add to browsers in a variety of different ways. Most of these companies, organizations offer websites where they will just have add-ons and extensions that you can kind of change, and kind of fix up your browser the way you want it to and customize it. So pay careful attention to what browsers can do for you. Okay. So in the discussion, the primary discussion we're going to be talking about is obviously browser related, and so I'd like to really kind of focus very carefully on all the different bells and whistles and all the different features that browsers have to offer. Now, we do have 2 other assignments this week. One is a reflection, and the reflection is going to be on browsers, right? We are talking about them, so why not reflect on it as well? So you're going to really focus on, how have things changed? Are your browsing habits different now? Are you going to look at the internet differently now that you've learned so much about security and privacy and how the internet works and how it functions? So that's one thing that we're going to be working on, is that reflection. The other thing is going to be one last assignment in Excel. And so I've been mentioning this a little bit last week to some of you. There will be an Excel assignment, and this one's going to be dealing with charts and graphs. It's a fun one. It's really easy. You're going to be putting together a very small chart and just kind of seeing how that works and kind of adding a couple little features to make it a little bit more unique. So those are going to be the 2 assignments. And so those 2, along with the discussion board for this week, gives you a decent amount to do this week. But it really is an exciting week. It's kind of fun. So I hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks, folks.